These movie reviews are delicious. Film Threat sucks.
Hey, it's Chris Gore, got the knowledge in store. Oh yeah, Alan Ng, watching Top of the Flare. Movie and TV show reviews that you need. Film threats on firework, planting the seeds. Film threat, we keep it real. Dive into the stories, you know the deal. Turn the phone, it's the place to be. Movie lovers gather round. 1, 2, 3. From blockbusters to indie gold. Oh yeah, Chris and Alan break the mold. Pop your corn, turn down the lights. Get ready to groove through movie nights. Film threat, we keep it real. Dive into
Hey folks, happy Wednesday. We're here. That's right. I'm here. Alan is about to join me any minute now. Today on the show, Hollywood is on fire. Lots of news stories about the industry in collapse and contraction. We will go over that, including comments that may have been overlooked from Richard Linklater at the Cannes Film Festival, talking about his new movie and the industry. Plus, the trailer for Piglet has dropped. No, it's not from Disney, which means it might be good. Plus, an interview with filmmaker here, A Hard Place director Jay Horton. He'll be on the show to talk about his movie. And the cast of Harry Potter has been announced. Lots of excitement. Your comments and questions. Let's go. Let's start the show. It's a Wednesday, so let's get into it. Let's go. I am thinking about doing a limited edition, like coffee table book, like a Taschen book that'll reprint best. I want to call the book The Worst of Film Threat.
Good morning, Mr. Ng. The target is Chris Gore, film connoisseur and career rambler. His plan is to continue rambling until there is no time left to review movies. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to move on with the show and prevent him from rambling the globe into a full-scale world war. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
So there you go.
We got films to get to.
We got films to get to. Come on, Alan, let's go.
Hello, Mr. Christopher Gore. Let me just say, I don't care if you ever find Alan, but a deal is a deal. So I'll say it, Alan, Alan, Alan. And one last thing, I don't like you or your reviews. Leave me and my AI alone. Okay, thank you.
You flipped off.
We have to listen to AOC.
You flipped her off in the.
I did.
Yeah.
I flipped her off.
Well,
Hey man, how's it going?
oh, good. I'm life is a blur at the moment.
Yeah. Well, there's so much going on. We have Comic-Con coming up in San Diego. I don't know if I should have announced it or not, but I did mention we are doing a panel Thursday during Comic-Con at 7 p.m. at the Marriott. I'm not supposed to make an announcement, but I am putting together a panel of indie filmmakers you will love, including Jim Agnew will be there, among others. It's going to be a masterclass about what's going on in Hollywood and indie film. And I've been invited to participate in a panel on Friday about the 50th anniversary of Jaws. So my plate is full.
Wow.
Is getting full. And then Saturday I'm doing probably Hall H the whole time.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, if you need a moderator for your panel, I'm free. Apparently I'm on nothing. And
well, let's get you on a panel. Let's get you on a panel, man. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Before we do that, remind people, I'm going to put myself full screen here for a second.
Don't do that.
I'll do it for one reason. I got my Camp Film Threat mug. It's a tin mug. I love it. It's great. I also got the tank top, which I'm not wearing because I haven't shaved my shoulders. I don't want to look like Eric July. I want to shave my shoulders if I'm wearing a tank top. But Camp Film Threat merch is out there now. Go to shop.filmthreat.com. Check out all our merch. Also, we have our summer collection which I love. I love this summer collection. I got the Jaws inspired Film Threat shirt, Camp Film Threat. I got the Camp Film Threat tee modeled by one of the members of our staff. Look at this. Film Threat staff. We're very diverse. We have a diverse staff of people, and they're modeling all of our stuff, including the a distressed dad hat that says Camp Film Threat on it. I love it, Alan. I love it. Look at all that stuff. A lot of fun. So there you go. Pick up that merch. But let's see who's here. A lot of people.
I was gonna say, I like how your camera struggles to keep you in focus.
Oh, is it doing that?
It's just
hey, at least I'm not frozen or going away.
Yeah.
Progress, not perfection. A good friend of mine says that. So
all right, rub hands with the light says, "You damn dirty apes."
Yeah.
MK Solid Jeremy Johns said that Karate Kid Legends is bad. You can tell they just wanted to keep milking Cobra Kai. Hollywood is desperate for anything. It has become pathetic.
Well, we'll see for ourselves.
Yeah.
On Friday, we'll talk about it.
Yep. Let's see. Shuxy. Yay. I'm finally around for the live stream.
Hey, Shuxy. Good to see you.
I haven't seen you in a long time.
Love reading your cards that you send. Love it.
Christopher Moonlight Productions. The death of Hollywood is the birth of something new. And I wrote an article for Iron Age Media predicting it over 2 years ago. And I'm writing about it on Film Threat. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, Christopher Moonlight Productions. Chris has a column on Film Threat about AI and indie filmmaking. You should follow that series of articles. He also has a Substack that I recommend you subscribe to. You can interact with him there.
Yeah. And his next article is posting tomorrow morning.
Awesome.
John Manalang, pop your corn, turn down the lights, get ready to groove. It's movie night.
Alan, you have to sing that when you say it. Come on.
Pop your corn, turn down the lights, get ready to groove. It's movie night.
I've heard better singing.
I'm trying to remember exactly how it goes.
All right.
Lord Thoth, the great Lord Thoth, beckons you all to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, sign up as a member, join us on X, Discord, Rumble, and Instagram, buy our merch, shop.filmthreat.com.
That's right. That's right, Alan. And we appreciate Lord Thoth. That's awesome. Let's get to our first item here. First item on the agenda. Just something fun to kick off here. Piglet trailer reaction. I have not seen this. I got a release about it. This is a series of low budget indie movies that is using the Winnie the Pooh franchise to make horror films. There was Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, Part 2, which I thought was really good. And some of these movies, some are hits, some are misses.
Yeah. I believe Neverland is part of that.
Yes, it's part of that also. I didn't like that one. Didn't like Blood and Honey Part 1, but I take these seriously. There is such a thing as a good bad movie. Shall we experience this together?
Let's.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Piglet, this is the UK trailer, and it's coming to digital the 2nd of June, and we will most likely review it. Here we go.
This place is beautiful. Can you believe it's been 10 years since we've been here?
You girls are going to have the best time. Why don't I go and warm up the jacuzzi?
Cheers! Cheers!
Oh no!
Love creepy dad.
I'll pass some girls renting the camp for the weekend. You choose whichever you want.
Oh no!
Just in the freezer.
This little piggy went to market.
Why would he be saying the word pig?
Oh, yeah.
Shower scene.
This is like really weird, right? I mean, where is everyone?
Like we need a triangle or something. I didn't think the stories were true. If he finds you,
Oh yeah, lesbians.
he wants you forever.
Feel like a pig.
He's behind you! Run! Somebody help me!
God.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, Alan, I'll just say this. Look, these movies are not great. Some have been really fun. Blood and Honey 2, I thought was very funny. Death of Snow White was for an indie film, I thought it was really ambitious. It was made so cheaply. It looked like they spent a lot of money. This one looks like one of the bad ones. I gotta say, the only thing that could improve it is if they opened with the words "from Christopher Nolan's cousin,"
Cousin's best
Nolan's
friend.
cousin's friend. I mean, I don't know. Come up with some bizarre connection or whatever. But yeah, that looks bad. But we'll probably talk about it nonetheless.
Well, there's a hot tub scene in it. There's a shower scene in it.
Yeah, it's the only way to get you to watch these.
I know, and I think what ruins it is I believe it's implied nudity and not actual.
Well, we'll see if implied or actual. We'll find out, and we will let you know because we're reviewers that like to be thorough when it comes to these things.
And we're feminists, so
yes, sure we are. Sure we are. Let's go to some quick comments here.
All right. The Garth Knight returns. It's porkin' time. That's right.
There we go.
Single guy cook, and Alan loves his horror genre with full frontal. At least give me that. Don't just make me sit there and watch people die. Our own shaman. It's hard to be brave when you're only a very small animal. Piglet. ADLS 24. Middle-aged Piglet has clearly had a rough life. Where did Christopher Robin touch him?
That will be in part 2. Part 2. But the big news, the Harry Potter trio has been cast. That's right. The upcoming HBO show that will basically expand upon the Harry Potter. It's basically
the books. It will be the books.
They're based on the books and more accurate telling of those stories. I wonder how many episodes each season will be. So one season will actually be one of the books, but is it 6 episodes? So 6 hours, 12 hours? I don't know, but you can see the trio is here and they look pretty accurate. They look pretty, unlike Snape. This looks like, what we saw in the movies. Alan, give us the crux of the story here.
Yes. All right. So HBO has finally announced the lead cast for its highly anticipated Harry Potter television series. Dominic McLaughlin will play Harry Potter, with Arabella Stanton as Hermione Granger and Alistair Stout as Ron Weasley. These largely unknown young actors were selected from over 30,000 hopefuls in a global casting search led by casting directors Lucy Bavan and Emily Brockman. Who cares? Filming is set to begin this summer. The casting team and showrunner Francesca Gardiner, along with executive producer Mark Mylod, expressed excitement over the trio's chemistry and talent and suggested they will follow in the footsteps of the original film stars.
I think they look their age. They look very young.
Yeah.
I'm glad they got Ron is a ginger. No more ginger side. And Harry is throw glasses on that kid. I think he's perfect. And Hermione, she looks good too.
Yeah, I don't know what people are saying she's black, and I'm like looking it up, and I
don't see it. She
doesn't look black. She looks
that is a cheat. They'll say, oh, well, she's black, but she's so light skinned, she's passing, like the actress from How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, if she's black, I don't know it. I couldn't tell. And why does that matter? I mean, why are we digging? Why are we looking up this girl's bio and looking to see the heritage of her parents?
Yes, well, I'm sure somebody already has a countdown clock until she turns 18. That's the internet for you. But I'm curious if they will, when they did the original movies, the plan was to cast stages of life. So the trio that they cast would have traded them out as they aged. And the actors they felt were so good, they kept them all through the series of all through all 8 movies or 7 books. I don't know. We'll see if that's what they do. If that's they'll stick with this trio maybe for the first 3 seasons, then swap them out.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it was funny how the actor who played Ron Weasley got a lot taller. He had a growth spurt, and Daniel Radcliffe was shorter, noticeably.
Yeah. Well, Hermione will grow faster first.
That's probably
we'll
true.
Yeah, and we'll see how that changes the dynamic. The best advice I can give these kids though is stay off social media.
Yeah, don't read the internet.
Live in a bubble for the next 8 years? I don't know, 7 or 8 years, however long the series is. You would be best served to never find out what people are saying about you.
Right. Well, I'll say this. I think this has the potential to be something really special, but the casting of Snape, they cast an actor who is not the same ethnicity as the character from the original movies, and it's gonna be weird when he'll be mocked and called mudblood. I mean, they're injecting racism by that casting. They could have swapped out a lot of other characters, but that one in particular, I think was a mistake. But we'll see. Maybe they know something we don't. And maybe he is brilliant.
Yeah,
but
like I said, I've mentioned before, he needs to be better than Alan Rickman.
Yes, if he is not better,
if he's better, I'm all for it. I was listening to Clownfish TV today, and they said, they mentioned, what if Morgan Freeman had played Dumbledore?
Yeah,
I'm like, that could potentially work.
Well, I think they should cast British actors across the board. As much as I like John Lithgow and he can do a British accent, maybe they should have stayed pure like British actors, and there are a lot to choose from. So I think you're going to see a lot of diversity in other maybe smaller, inconsequential parts where that really doesn't matter. It just doesn't. But I think with Snape, it's going to be a problem. It will be a problem. It will change the story. It'll change it. But I don't know. With Wicked, I had concerns, and then Cynthia Erivo was very good in Wicked. She's green.
She was much better in the movie.
She's much better in the movie than in the press junkets. Gosh. All right. Let's go to your comments.
Matthew Hammond, member for 14 months, from the best boy that brought you The Dark Knight.
That should happen.
Torgo the White, member for 15. At least they didn't blackify the red hair or the redhead. I think they will with Cho then. I get a sneaking suspicion they're going to race swap the only Asian character in Harry Potter.
There you go. Thank you for being a member for 15 months.
Yes. Toxic Waltz, Nate. I heard 75 million an episode. That's like 4.5 billion for the entire series.
Wow.
I would question that. I don't know that 75 million sounds right. The other thing is HBO knows how to do television.
Yes. And I think that it depends on the number of episodes and how they amortize the cost. Because once you build a set and reuse a set, there's costs. Maybe the first season it will be. And then as the seasons go, it becomes less and less expensive.
Yeah. I would say if it is 4.5 billion for the entire series, I believe 2.5 billion goes to J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
Darth Yeager, the kids look fine. I'm just curious how much the story will have to change with Black Snape. I don't know. I'm pushing back on this idea that we're injecting current day politics and culture into this story that doesn't take place in current day politics and culture.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. New reveals about Superman.
Oh God.
That's right. Let's the running time for Superman has been revealed. Are you ready?
Yes.
From DC Film News, the runtime for Superman has been revealed, currently listed at 122 minutes. International distributors have received the update. This is good news.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bloated running time. It's tight. 122 minutes. We heard about the post-credit scene. I'm pretty sure they're locked at this point, and that's good news. That's also good news in the department, the area of showing, getting more screenings in a day. I mean, Mission Impossible was hurt by the almost 3-hour running time. This is good news, and good news for Superman. Superman could be the most profitable superhero movie this year. Captain America Brave New World, awash. Thunderbolts is imploding. Fantastic Four, the more we see, it's not looking good, and people are kind of tired of Marvel. Will things be looking up for DC? When I say look up, I mean quoting the tagline on the poster. This is good news. What do you think, Alan?
Yeah, I mean, not only that, of the movies, this has the most merchandise potential as well. So you're going to hit big on that one. Yeah, 122 sounds fine. 2 hours. I think if it came in less than 2 hours, I'd be a little disappointed. The Marvels came in at an hour 45.
Right.
The last two Marvel movies came in at 2 hours. The last Marvel movie to come in over was 2.5 hours, and that was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah, I mean, James Gunn, he was saying that we're not going to make a movie until we have a script. And obviously the script was tight. They have confidence. Again, the marketing, I think, has been weak. This could surprise us. And what I would refer people to is James Gunn's track record. He has a good track record. And that's what I would point to. And I think I'm tired. The worst running time, give me a 3-hour epic, but these 2 hours and 20 minutes, if a movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes, it's not well edited, in my opinion. What are your thoughts, Alan?
Yeah, how long was Dune? I'm looking.
Well, Dune is different.
Dune is different.
Dune's an epic. I wish Dune was longer, quite frankly.
Dune, 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 45 minutes for part 2.
Yeah.
Almost 3 hours.
Well, I like that.
Okay.
It's a 5-hour
All right.
story.
Yeah. So 2 is fine as long as it's not Dune. Then you can go to 3. Yeah. Lord of the Rings. I saw the extendeds in theaters. Those were 3 hours each. Over 3 hours. I believe we spent well over half a day in the movie theater watching those 3 films.
Let's go to comments.
Carlos Alfredo Lopez, making a 2-hour movie is tight.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, look, Superman has earned it. Negra Snape, aka the half lean prince. 2-hour runtime means more screenings throughout the day. Yep.
Exactly.
Sunset Shadows, more than 2.5 hours. Bring back intermissions.
I agree. I love intermissions. RRR had an intermission.
Yeah. Darth Yeager, 2 hours, about 10 minutes will be closing credits. So about an hour, 112 minutes.
Probably 5 minutes of credits. There you go. All right.
Yeah. I believe the credits has James Gunn talking about what a great job he did shooting the movie. That'll be the post-credit scene.
Alan, guess what? More Lilo and Stitch news, and this time there's no controversy. No controversy. This story from the Hollywood Reporter is about Lilo and Stitch and the power of millennial nostalgia at the movie theater. Alan, give me the crux or the Horcrux of the story, if you will.
The live action release of Lilo and Stitch has proven that nostalgia can be intoxicating, even enough to unseat Tom Cruise at the box office. Despite its humble origins as a seemingly lesser Disney title from early 2000s, the film surged to the top of Memorial Day weekend charts, surpassing blockbusters like Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning and Top Gun: Maverick with a staggering 182.7 million domestic haul. Originally planned for Disney Plus, the film's shift to theatrical release tapped into emotional roots it holds for Zillennials, those born in the late 90s and early 2000s who grew up during the twilight of Disney's traditional animation era. The Lilo Stitch lacked the commercial firepower and critical acclaim of its Golden Age predecessors. Its presence on VHS, cable reruns, merchandise, and video games etched it into the psyche of a generation that now drives box office trends. This generation's loyalty was made clear as general audiences made up a large share of the ticket buyers than most other recent family films, with young adults aged 13 to 34 making up the majority of the non-family viewers. The return of Lilo and Stitch to the big screen highlights a broader industry shift, the power of commercial potential of Zillennial nostalgia. And then it brings up Freakier Friday coming out and Disney Princess Diaries 3, which I think is too old for the Zillennials, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, you are muted.
Oh, sorry about that, Alan. Yeah. Look, I think that what Disney is going to do, based on the success of Lilo and Stitch, is learn the wrong lesson. I really believe that. What do you think?
Yeah. This whole Zillennial nostalgia is nonsense. Family movies have always made money, have always made tons of money. And the quality of these family movies doesn't matter. As long as it is safe for the family, it will make a lot of money. It will make more money than it should. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Well,
and so when you say that they're going to learn the wrong lessons, that's exactly the fact that they're leaning into Freakier Friday and Princess Diaries 3, which is older than these Zillennials. These Zillennials have never seen the originals in the theater. And to say that that's gonna be the cause of massive box office is silly thinking. In those cases, those have to be better movies because they're not for the younger set.
Yeah, look, the family movie market is huge. The problem is Disney has not learned, or they should have learned, based on the failure of Snow White. Mm-hmm. That was one of the biggest failures in movie history was Snow White. They should have learned, keep politics out of it and better vet your lead actress. You get actors who are supportive of the project. They are free to have political opinions. Let them, but I would not cast them if they put that in danger. I mean, she lost a lot of money for the studio. I don't think she gets cast in anything big, not in Hollywood. That's not happening.
Yeah, she needs a cooling off period, and so I guess Broadway is where she's going to cool off.
I don't think she's. I saw a video recently about problems they had with her on the set of West Side Story with Spielberg making demands. He was difficult to work with. I mean, she got that opportunity like as West Side Story was coming out. So, I mean, we'll see. I think they should do more of Lilo and Stitch. What does that mean for creativity? Not much. Will there be like something original live action? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, one thing Disney has lost is the ability to create something original for children.
Yes, that's exactly right. Something new.
Yeah. I mean, Pixar's coming off a great success with Inside Out 2. Now they're coming out with Elio, and I'll be honest with you, Elio doesn't look interesting to me at all. Right. I doubt it's going to be woke, but I doubt it's going to be good. And it's just based on the trailers I've seen and what little I know of this story. And that's why I say I think Disney has forgotten what it's like to write a story for children.
Yeah, I mean, just an original story,
Mhm.
something, I don't know. But I think this will fast track Frozen live action. That is coming, whether you like it or not.
Well, there's a live action Moana coming next. I mean that one fits into this category of zillennial nostalgia. And whether they do it right or not, that remains to be seen. But look, there's a blueprint. There's a blueprint for Moana. They just have to do what they did with Lilo and Stitch, and maybe follow the story a lot more closely than Lilo and Stitch.
Let's go to some comments, and then I have a treat.
The Raven and the Writing Desk. Remember, for 24 months.
Thank you.
Patrick Lemire. Is it nostalgia or parents with little kids will line up for any Disney movie that isn't trying to gay their kids?
That's part of it, I would say. Next, sorry about this, Alan.
Yep.
I'm lining up something special that literally I just got an email about this.
Okay. So you gotta, someone's gotta
just keep going.
Okay. Wouldn't it be profitable to just re-release the originals rather than these live action remakes?
Correct. They used to, when I was young. I was too young. Obviously, I wasn't even born when a lot of the Disney classics were released. And they would re-release them to theaters. And this is before home video. Yes, I'm that old. But I saw Fantasia in a theater when I was a kid. It blew my mind. I loved Fantasia for two things. A Night on Bald Mountain, that is amazing. It's a nightmare to a kid. And the dinosaur sequence was awesome. The dancing mushrooms. I mean, Fantasia, seeing that in a theater as a kid. I don't know why they don't do that. Look at their old library and re-release the classics and do it like, they do the Studio Ghibli
Fathom events. Yeah.
Fathom events that we heard that their business nearly doubled in 2024 in terms of older releases. I don't understand why Disney doesn't have a constant flow of the classics in theaters so parents can pass on to a new generation of kids the old classics.
Right, but
I don't work for Disney.
Yeah, but if this Lilo and Stitch makes $1 billion, that's what, profit of over $500 million. That's more than a re-release of Lilo and Stitch would have gotten. Maybe at best, Lilo and Stitch would have made $100 million in re-release. And that's being optimistic. Yeah. Let's see. The Dark Knight Returns. Atlantis, The Lost Empire could be a live action adaptation. It has the box checking cast, and it's a good adventure film. Tyzilla, 83 for 199. Tron Ares, will it make a ton of money in October?
I don't know. Tron is really kind of a very narrow nerd thing. I don't know. I'm up in the air on that one. So,
yeah. Hi, Lori.
Someone wrong button.
Patrick Lemire. Walt Disney didn't make sequels. He thought they were lazy and uncreative.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I was looking because I know Love Bug had it, but they came out after he died, and Apple Dumpling Gang also came out after he died.
Yeah. Hey, Alan, a new Jurassic Park movie is coming out in July, Jurassic World Rebirth. But I have something new for you. Whenever Hollywood releases a big tentpole movie, you may get some copycats and some low budget versions. And the Jurassic Games Extinction is a movie that is coming. It is an indie movie, and I have the trailer for you to see. Alan, I have not seen this. Are you ready?
Yes.
It's only 90 seconds from Jackrabbit Media. They have 69 subscribers. Okay. Hey, let's watch this trailer because I want dinosaurs. What?
Whoa, no.
Did it go down? This
It went
video's
down.
unavailable.
Wow.
Wow. In the
Wow.
time I got it was removed by the uploader.
Well, maybe he re-uploaded it.
Let's do this.
Yeah, maybe he needed to upload it for some reason.
Nope. Official trailer. There's an
Jurassic
old movie
Games,
from
right?
7 years ago. Well, there you go. My little clever
There you go.
news item is not happening. Move on to something else.
Yes.
This is the bonus content you get when you watch the show live. Things happen.
People saw it and thought it was icky and gross.
Hey, psyops, are they real? That's just a conspiracy theory or truth in 6 months, as they say. And I did not believe this when I heard it, but here we are. The CIA secretly ran a Star Wars fan site. Now, I guess I'm going to believe that, but let's check it out. Alan, you have the notes for this story. I'll go to the story. I'm just curious as to why they did this.
All right.
Here we go.
There we go.
This is from Joseph Cox.
Joe Cox. What looked like a simple Star Wars fan site, StarWarsWeb.net, was actually a covert CIA tool used to communicate with informants overseas. Amateur researcher Cyril Santelli uncovered the site's true purpose while investigating old digital breadcrumbs left by the agency. Using public tools like the Wayback Machine and DNS Tracker, Santilli tracked the site to a broader network of CIA-operated websites disguised as fan pages and niche internet sites, targeting countries like Germany, Brazil, and China. Flaws in the design, such as sequential IP addresses, allowed Iran and Chinese authorities to expose the network, leading to the death of over 24 CIA sources in the early 2010s. Santilli's finding built upon early investigations by Reuters and Yahoo News and highlights how digital sloppiness can have deadly consequences in espionage. His research shows the scale of the network and the CIA's global reach, especially in democratic nations. Experts have largely validated his works, and Santilli sees to the exposure not just as a warning, but as a chance to preserve a strange chapter of spycraft history. As he puts it, there's something surreal and oddly fascinating about being able to browse a Star Wars-themed CIA spy tool on the Wayback Machine.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Okay, so it wasn't for anything nefarious other than communicating secretly?
Yes.
Okay.
But it points out that the CIA had set this up, but because they were using sequential IP addresses, it was easy to figure out all the CIA sites because you just scrolled to the next one, the next one. They're all fan sites, and so it got people killed because the CIA doesn't know what they're doing.
That's shocking. You mean a government agency didn't really know what it was doing?
Yeah, especially the ones that hold lives in their hands. But yeah.
Well, I'm not shocked, but that's who would they hire to even do it? That seems so weird.
Well, it was all done in house, and they didn't have smart people building these websites.
Were they real Star Wars fans?
I'm sure they invited people to come on and act like it, and then you just figure out, you slip in your messages amongst the real chatter. Although it'd be funny to kind of go through it and see what kind of comments they were. Yeah. Did the CIA like the prequels? What was the intel on Jar Jar Binks?
Who knows?
Yeah, is Tatooine the Middle East? Who knows?
Yes. Okay, that's crazy. Let's go to comments here.
All right. Waifu Slayer for 5. I'm so excited to watch not Reed Richards, Girl Boss The Rock, and Johnny Soy Boy as the Flaming Torch. And 1990 CGI Silver Chick.
Yeah, FF is not looking good. I mean, honestly, I've heard some things about the ending, and I'm seriously concerned.
I mean, how the Fantastic Four find up in modern time
I
and hook up with the new Avengers.
We'll see. We shall see.
All right. Pilgrim Media for 2. Has Kurt Russell ever commented about Disney films? Yeah, he's commented somewhat. Believe it or not, Kurt Russell was Walt Disney's kind of last protege, and he had big things planned for him, but his passing kind of ended all that. But I believe he said great things about Walt himself.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard him say anything. He's like a pro.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some documentaries and interviews, and I believe like some of the final meetings Walt Disney had, Kurt Russell was one of them.
Yeah. All right, more comments here.
Let's see. Le Scribe. This kind of op was a plot point. In fact, it was how one of the leads was recruited for the episodic sci-fi TV show Stargate Universe. Love it.
Wow. Surprising. All right. Hey, do you know what Tadum is?
Yes.
Tadum is, of course, the sound that begins every Netflix show. When you boot up the app, with the Netflix, you get your Tadum. It's also turned into a thing that is now a show that anyone can buy tickets to. Now you can go see it live. They have actors. It's like a Hall H presentation with actors telling you about their upcoming shows. It will be live on Netflix this Saturday night. And we have a little preview that features One Piece. So let's take a look at this. This is actually from X. We're probably going to get hit because Netflix hits everything. But let's look at this, Alan.
Draw that! Next up, the Grand Line! Yeah!
Luffy. Luffy, what are you doing here?
Not me! I had an idea. I realized that every great pirate crew needs some good, solid bonding time. So we're having a slumber party!
No. We are not having a slumber party.
So I made snacks. Truffle popcorn for the group. Up for the group.
And I fixed the snow projector, which is kind of a disturbing process.
Zoro, you made it!
You said there was going to be booze.
So, question, do you sleep with those suits?
Maybe.
Okay, I guess we are having a slumber party.
Showtime. Pass the popcorn.
Okay, so what are we watching?
Do you want to do the honors?
All right. It's this Saturday live on Netflix. I do like the fact that you can actually buy tickets to the event. So I know someone that's going to be there and I'm going to see that person. I think you know this person too, Alan. I'm not going to say.
Okay.
I wouldn't pay to go, but I like the fact that you can do that if that's what you like.
Yeah, I guess.
Look, I loved One Piece season 1. I thought it really surprised me. Never heard of the anime. Kept hearing people talk about it. Binged the whole thing in 2 days, and it was a blast. Loved it. So, but the problem with Netflix, they have a season 2 problem. It seems like the season 2 of almost all their series kind of take a nosedive.
Yeah, or never get greenlit.
Yeah, so I'll watch season 2, but honestly, my expectations are well, I'm just gonna keep them in check. Let's look at the comments here.
I'm too old for this shit. All right, Laura Buckles. Yes, men and boys love slumber parties.
Yeah, that's
the Garth Knight returns. This is what it's like around Alan and Chris's 1-bedroom studio.
yeah.
Let's see. I Will Not Eat the Bug says 3-body problem. For Netflix, it's a season 2 problem.
It's a 2-season problem.
It's a 2-season problem. Sorry.
Yeah.
Connor Dorian, Charlie Manx for 5. James Gunn has debunked the runtime for Superman. Has he now?
Has he?
Maybe it's 3 hours now.
Atomic Lori will find out. Thank you for the 5. Appreciate it. Well, there you go. We got to vet these news stories.
I mean, is it like a stage show or something? Is that what people are paying tickets to see? Or?
It's a show that is best. It's like a panel discussions with the actors from all the series live coming on stage. And it's basically
okay. That's what they did last year. Yeah.
Yes, they do this every year now. Now they've turned it into a live show open to the public and a live show they run on Netflix. It's to hype their new shows.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
it's like those. Remember those shows that would promote this season's Saturday morning cartoons?
I love those.
Yeah, that's what this is.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm too old for this stuff.
Chris McQuarrie is talking some Tom Cruise. So I've got a couple things here. I've got things queued up here. And Chris McQuarrie, the director of Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, he's been doing the interview circuit. There's a couple interviews here. Let's hear what he has to say, including some comments about the new Mission Impossible, Top Gun 3. So let's go here. I'm going to turn this up. You ready? Here we go.
Something else about that recording with enough distance to get away from it. Just to give you a sense of reality, when you heard it and you read the associating copy, close your eyes and show me how you picture the event.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Like just what do you picture? What do you imagine the event being?
I mean, he's obviously on set surrounded by a dozen actors, extras.
He's talking about the Tom Cruise rant that some people criticized him for. That I thought the fact that he's making this movie, it's like, look, we have insurance, we have all of this, we have rules to follow. He didn't say he loved the rules, but if you're going to be shooting, you agree to follow the rules that are in place. And when that rant came out, I remember saying, oh, I get it. Follow the rules. I'm not in favor of a lot of the things that happened during that time, but if you agree we're allowed to do this if we follow these rules, then that's the rules. You have people giving you money. You have there's insurance, and there are people's jobs on the line. People,
the
that
movie is on the line.
The movie's on the line. Yeah. And Chris McQuarrie is putting this in context for those that criticize Tom Cruise. Him and Bale, there are certain things where it's like, I don't know why the Bale thing was, I mean, he was,
but he overreacted.
Overreacted, but even then,
you understood it, but he overreacted.
There's a reason they say quiet on the sets.
Yeah.
But let's continue with this.
You and a couple folks who were getting too close to each other. And
how many people total would you say was that based on your mental picture?
It's a trap.
No, it's not a trap. It's
Yeah.
quite literally what
Yeah.
impression did it give you? There's no right or wrong
Yeah,
answer.
no, I was like a dozen, 20, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. There were 7 people
Yeah.
in that conversation, and 2 of them were me and Tom.
Yeah.
And it was not in front of the crew. That's how it was reported.
Got it.
And 2 of the people there were people who had specifically been tasked with the health and safety of our crew, and had repeatedly
not lived up to that responsibility.
Not lived up to that responsibility. Yeah. What you're also not hearing is the 30 minutes of audio that came before it, that led to that.
Mm-hmm.
When the number of times of trying to get one's point across is not finally
the
getting
breaking point
across.
was reached. Yeah.
So context is very, very important, and it's not something you can ever add to something in the age of the internet in real time. But the truth of the matter was there was a much greater context to that, and now factor into it the fact that the person who is raising his voice is quite literally going to work every day and risking his life for a very expressed purpose of keeping the industry alive. That was not a guy pissed off because his latte was cold.
Right.
And
or even that someone's in my eye line, which is justifiable.
Well, this is from the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. Josh,
I actually like
Horowitz.
that podcast.
Yeah, I like Josh. I've met him and spoken to him several times. When I did junkets, I'd always see him for G4. He's a good guy. He's a straight shooter. Anyways, so yeah, the context matters on this. So let's see how much more there is, and then we'll comment. I have another clip to show.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. Other outbursts you've heard, which by the way, you listen to those things out of context and think, oh my God, you make one movie and you will totally understand.
Yeah, no, I get it.
When you understand the pressure, the pain, the risk, the time, and the responsibility.
And add COVID and everything going on.
You add COVID and everything else going on.
Yeah.
And you can't respond to it.
Yeah.
You can't respond to it.
If you've ever been on a big film set or TV set, whatever, time is money. Clock is ticking. You could calculate down to the minute how much it costs to make a movie when you're in production. It's not cheap. And so I understand getting upset and the passion behind this. So, these things get blown out of proportion, and and a film sets can get really can get tense. And I look, I produced a feature. It was an 18-day shoot, and there were a couple 18-hour days that were tense. And the next day, it may get heated in the moment, and the next day you're just back to work. Let's go. It's like when a film set runs well, it's like a military operation. Everyone has a job and are at the top of their game if you can afford it. So we'll watch a little bit more.
But I just want to respond by saying,
please.
It's the fact that Tom and Christian are being defined by these, 15, 20 seconds of their lives that's been thrown out on the internet. I mean, it's just unfair to take something out of context or to take someone's bad 10 to 20 seconds of your life and make that the focus of their career, of their character. Social media has put us in this place where we are all defined by the sound bites of our lives, as opposed to the total picture of our lives, the total person we are. And this is just an example of that, of a guy, Tom Cruise, who's trying to make great movies, save an industry when no one asked him to. And you take a moment of his life out of context and you put it out there on the internet. And now you have to have people explain it constantly. Or whenever you interview the guy or think about the guy, every time you think about Christian Bale, you think about this tirade he had. And I think it was just he overreacted. It was a bad moment, but I don't think I would define him based on that moment.
Yes. All right. Let's watch a little bit more. I have another clip to show real quick.
What I am grateful for is that people in the know, people who make movies for a living, understood, A, we've all been there. We've all lost our shit. Every single person.
Yep.
Ye without sin cast the first stone. But that also the what he was saying was very, very sincere. There was, he was on the phone every night fighting the good fight to keep things going, to keep things alive. And I was a fly on the wall for all of that. I watched him will that into existence. And then I watched how long it took for people to change, for crews to adopt a different mode of behavior and to take seriously what it was. And it did not matter what you believed.
Yeah.
These are the rules now. And if we want to keep working, this is what we got to do.
Yeah.
It's not really about what is true for you and what is not.
Right.
This is reality.
Yeah.
Reality and truth are two very, very different things.
So, good clip. Yeah, I'll just tell you, the worst thing is when someone comes on a film set who's never been on a film set. A friend of mine named Paul Salamoff, you can look this book up on Amazon. He wrote it years ago. I think he did an update. Wrote a book called Setiquette, like etiquette, but on a film set, explaining what every job is on a film set, what that person's job is to do, and how you should conduct yourself on a set. The worst thing is, and this will get someone to lose their shit, when the actors are trying to do a take and someone does something like makes a loud noise, or people are sawing something in the back doing construction, or, a sound disturbs production and shooting. That will make a director lose their shit. So one more clip here about.
I just want to say,
please go ahead.
This is a subject I see in a lot of movies, and it's true in life. But just because you're of adult age, doesn't make you an adult. And I think that's the problem with Hollywood, with a lot of aspects of our lives, is we have adults hanging around us who have not grown up yet, who have not matured into adulthood, who don't understand the idea of responsibility, of respect, or get the job done. And we're coddling them like children. And it just sounds like that's what's happening here. It's just people aren't taking things seriously. And as adults, we had to take everything in life seriously.
It's like someone fresh out of college that's never worked professionally, and they don't understand. I don't care about your feelings. There's a great exchange in the TV show Mad Men where a character is lectured by Don. It's like, I don't even get any thanks. That's what the money's for. It's all about just being professional. Do your job, and that's it. That's your job. You do your job. I give you money. Let's get into Top Gun 3. This is cool.
Okay. Their relationship is resolved, the movie is over.
Right. Tighten that screw as much as possible.
Yes, and if they have too many conversations where they don't talk about their problem, you're just like, guys, just talk about your fucking problem already. Just you'd be frustrated with the characters.
Totally.
Tom and I inherently understood that balance, and everyone else around us was pushing for what they wanted in the movie in the micro, and Tom and I were focused entirely on the macro. The challenge of that became, of course, the fact that when you're making a movie, and you can reference other movies when I say this, if your character doesn't like the protagonist, no matter how much you want me to like that character, the rules of movie making say I don't like that character.
Right.
Even if I don't like the protagonist all that much, you're an antagonist. Rooster was always riding the edge of falling into being an antagonist.
Right.
You had to build an entire world around that character so that you liked him despite the fact that he didn't like the guy you're rooting for. That's the bones of the movie that we knew and were always after. We're always pushing in terms of making sure in every scene I feel affinity for this character. I want to like both characters.
Yeah.
And I want to see them be friends. And that's the reward of the movie. It's not finishing the mission. It's not Great Balls of Fire. It's not any of that. It's the ultimate emotional payoff. Much like in the first movie, his relationship with Iceman.
Yeah.
He had his relationship with Rooster, but his relationship with Iceman, as much as Iceman was antagonizing Maverick, he was cool and he was a better pilot and he was right about everything that he was saying. You want to see them be friends. Why the sword fight in Princess Bride works, as good as the choreography is. Yes, it's great choreography. What really makes it great is they're two great characters, and you don't want to see either of them lose.
Right.
You you want those characters to be friends.
This is Chris McQuarrie is like giving a master class.
Yeah,
storytelling.
I've always known this about Christopher McQuarrie. If you listen to if you've ever listened to Empire Magazine, the podcast, every time a Mission Impossible movie would come out, they'd bring on Christopher McQuarrie, and they would spend hours talking about every little bit of Mission Impossible, what decisions were made, why decisions were made, and he gets into the nitty gritty of the storytelling. These conversations lasted longer than the actual movie, and you know, we had the pleasure at CinemaCon of watching Tom Cruise honor Christopher McQuarrie, and Tom Cruise came out with a giant stack of note cards and just started reading it. And he made reading note cards sound so natural, but you understood what a great talent Christopher McQuarrie is. You can argue over whether you like Final Reckoning or not, but the guy knows how to tell a story, and the guy understands cinema. And any production would be lucky to have this guy behind the scenes, helping to craft a movie.
Yeah. A little bit more of this, then we go to your comments.
And that's why that ending is so utterly satisfying. Understanding those things, there is no cookie cutter version of that. You have to strive for and fight for and push for that dynamic. I can write it and we can shoot it. That doesn't mean you'll feel it. And we look at it all the time and go, I ain't buying it. Maverick and Penny's relationship ultimately worked when we shot Jen Connolly for a fourth time on a little piece of a bar in front of a green screen. And she improvised a line in the middle of a newly written version of the scene where she said, it always ends the same way with us, Pete. Let's not start this time. When she said that, I suddenly knew how to structure the rest of their relationship, because it's really hard to create conflict between a man and a woman in a movie in which the man desperately needs to go and do what he needs to do.
Right.
How can that character be saying to him, what about me? Same thing with Grace in these movies. How do you create tension in the relationship without having one of the characters be completely ignoring how important the stakes of the movie are? Those are big challenges, and they take forever. Haley's first scene in the movie, we shot 2 months ago. And we shot it after we tested it the first time and looked at it and went, oh, of course, I know exactly what I need to do with this character, and I need to do it in 2.5 minutes.
You know why Hollywood movies suck is because no one puts that much attention into their story and into the film in the final process. It's just, here's a script, shoot it and release it. And we've just lost the ability to look deep into a story, critically analyze it, and understand why things work and why things don't work.
You can have all the action set pieces and effects you want, but putting that much thought into the character relationships
and plots, and,
that is what's required to succeed.
And how to capture all that on film.
Right. We're going to go to your comments in a second, but I have to have a quick break, Alan. But I wanted to show you something I found online before we go to your comments. I can't believe you said this.
Hello, doctor. Yes, it's me. It happened again. I woke up and it wouldn't go down. It scared the crap out of the dog. My grandfather had the same problem. I'm not sure what I can do. If Chris finds out, he will be insanely jealous. This issue dates back to my ancestors. Chris cannot know. Hello.
What did you mean by all that?
I wish I understood what I meant by all that.
All right, Alan, if you would go through the comments top to bottom, I will be right back. I apologize.
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, why we don't like AI, I don't understand. Doc Possum, I'm too old for this shit is the theme of my life. Hey, mine too. I just no more nonsense. No more F's to give. The Dark Knight Returns, Les Grossman movie. Let's fucking go. D Good. I know they're talking about it. D Goodhart. Tom Cruise was perfectly justified with that rant. Yeah, I mean, when you're the boss and you're responsible for that money and that crew. Yeah. Ron Henriquez. I always assumed Cruise was talking to 3 or 4 selfish people who had repeatedly violated the rules. Even though he yelled at them, he did it in a respectful manner. I'm surprised they made it that far and didn't get fired in the process. That's how nice Tom Cruise is. All right. Bill S. Preston, Esquire. I remember a stand-up comic telling that as a joke about a parent flipping out in public. You didn't see the minutes, hours, or days of the child misbehaving to that point. Exactly. No one ever, they always show you the bad parts, but they never show you the minutes leading up to those bad parts.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Carlos Alfredo Lopez, never bring an IKEA chair when Chris is on the set.
Yeah, don't do that.
Misstreamguide.com for $4.99. Go check out that site, I guess. Hey, Frank Chris. Gore, thanks for the inspiration. I started a new website for creators called My Stream Guide. Okay, my pronunciation was better. Should be live in 3 months. Thank you. Yeah, Misstream.
That's great. MyStreamGuide.com. Let us know when it launches. Congrats and thanks for the $4.99.
All right, Patrick Lemire. When I see a Mission Impossible budget, at least I can see why it was so expensive. Thunderbolts, I see it at 200 million and think it looks like 75 to 85 million. And Marvel seemed pleased they kept it in control. I bet you half of that was acting, or the actors.
Yeah.
Matthew Hammond for 2. Can much of this be done in pre-production?
A lot of the conversations about character relationships, but I didn't know that line with Jennifer Connelly was improvised. That totally sets up the relationships. Amazing. So that worked.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like editing is a lot of it is problem solving, trying to figure out how to get the intent of the scene on in the final product with the footage you actually shot. Pilgrim Media for 2. The F4 trailer elevator scene was really gay.
Oh.
You are not necessarily wrong about that. And Solomon Thornton, most Hollywood films are doing bad due to executive meddling.
Well, that's a consistent thing we see a lot. So, all right.
They are giving you hundreds of millions of dollars, so they feel they have the right to meddle.
Let's talk about this, Alan. I'll bring up the story, but Richard Linklater on what he told Tarantino at the Cannes Film Festival, recent Cannes Film Festival. Richard Linklater's new movie premiered. It's about the making of Breathless by Jean-Luc Godard, which inspired the name Jean-Luc Picard. Jean-Luc Godard, a French filmmaker who was part of the French New Wave of filmmakers like Francois Truffaut. His first feature film was Breathless. His new movie, Nouvelle Vague, is about that, and it premiered at Cannes, and Linklater had a lot to say. Give it to me, Alan.
Yes, at the Cannes premiere of Nouvelle Vague, Richard Linklater found himself celebrated not only for his homage to French New Wave legend Jean-Luc Godard, but also for his place in filmmaking, in a filmmaking revolution of his own, the American indie wave of the 1990s. Leading a strong standing ovation at Cannes, a standing ovation, was none other than Quentin Tarantino, a longtime friend and fellow revolutionary whose presence felt both symbolic and personal. I've known Tarantino for 30 years or whatever, Linklater said, reflecting on the shared past. Their connection stretches back in time when a cohort of fiercely original voices, including Steven Soderbergh, Paul Thomas Anderson, and Gus Van Sant, were tearing down the walls between art house and mainstream. For Linklater, seeing Tarantino front and center in Cannes was a reminder of the camaraderie and defiance that fueled their early work. Linklater spoke fondly of the late-night conversation they shared after the screening, telling Tarantino how Nouvelle Vague made him feel like he was 28 again, filled with ideas, but unsure how the world would respond. That bond forged in time of creative upheaval still holds, even as the industry has changed. Whereas Tarantino's film have often been bold, stylized, and reverential, Linklater's work tends to be realism, rehearsal, and lived experience. But the two directors share an unrelenting devotion to the craft of filmmaking. Their mutual respect, sustained over time, was on full display at Cannes, serving as a quiet testament to the enduring power of artistic friendship, forged in the fire of a cultural moment that may never fully return.
Well, you didn't get to the punchline of this,
Well,
unless
that's all
it's
I
got.
had. Yeah.
Okay, well, you got to read down to the article here when you get to the most important quote from the entire thing.
Yeah.
Talking about the state of the industry. You know, where he basically ends by saying, unless it's got money all over it, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Our currency is financial success, Linklater says. If it hasn't sold 1 million albums or grossed 100 million, they just go, is it important? Should we pay attention? Unless it's got money all over it, nobody gives a shit. That's where the industry is. So it's kind of sad. I'll say this. I'm a huge Linklater fan. He made my absolute favorite independent film of all time. It's called Slacker from 1991. It is a series. It's a day in the life of Austin, Texas. Strings together a series of short stories of people passing in the city. It starts from early morning to night. It's a beautiful film. You can overlook kind of some of the acting is, you know, like a lot of the people in the movie were not necessarily actors. Some were not, but it's a really amazing film it doesn't tell a story. It's a story of, it's a vibe. It's a feeling. And I love that film. It inspired me when I saw it in 1991. I love that movie. And he's a guy that Linklater doesn't make. When you think of Wes Anderson, he makes a certain type of movie.
Yeah.
When you think of Tarantino, he makes a certain type of movie. Linklater makes very different movies, some commercial, some not at all. And he doesn't care. And he lives in Austin, never came to Hollywood, doesn't matter. And he makes highly original films. Boyhood, he shot over 7 years. They'd get together once a year for a couple weeks, shoot some scenes, then see you next year. When you look at his filmography, the movies are all over the map. If you see a Wes Anderson movie, they all kind of feel and look the same. And we'll talk about a Wes Anderson movie this Friday that I've seen that opens this week. But Linklater is not like that. He's one of the old school, last of the true independents. And I'll say Chris Nolan, who came up in the late 90s. He has an independent feel to his films, but he makes big movies now. Nolan movies are,
epics.
Yeah. He's earned it. He's earned it. Okay. But Linklater is more interesting to me because you never know what you're going to get. I'm obviously very excited about his upcoming film, but that quote, unless it's got money all over it, nobody gives a shit. You would not get surprise successes if you did not take a risk. And Hollywood is not about risk. It's about IP. It's all about, it's got to be something based on, it's already been a hit in another medium, whether it be, you can debate me on this, whether it be a video game like Minecraft. Okay. That was a hit as a video game, multi-format game. Okay. Would it make a good movie? I mean, I could not have predicted it, but it made money, right? But whatever. But they take safe bets. based on pre-existing IP. It used to be so many films were mostly based on books, novels. A popular novel would make its way to the big screen. That was a big deal. Now it's this thing where it's a live action of the original cartoon of the IP that's artist succeeded somewhere else into the and now like Wicked, which was based the Wicked is based on the stage play that was based on the book. The stage play changed it, and the movie's based on the stage play. You see where this goes, Alan, where it's like several different proven properties to get to the movie. Yeah. And that's something I do appreciate about Nolan and Linklater, for that matter, that the things they choose to do are based on an original idea, and there are fewer and fewer filmmakers like that today. What do you think, Alan? Your thoughts on these comments?
I mean, just kind of going on the indie theme here. If you're a serious filmmaker, Hollywood is not the dream. I don't know why you would chase a big budget, adaptation of some sort of IP. Because once you accept the big Hollywood dollars, you are no longer your own filmmaker. You are their filmmaker.
Correct.
Yeah. And what's great about Nolan, about Linklater, about Wes Anderson is that they did it on their terms, and they had to prove themselves early with no budget in order to do that. I mean, you think about Oppenheimer compared to Memento, and what two different movies those were in terms of how they were shot, the production values of that time and this time. You've got to make great movies on your own terms if you want to get Hollywood's attention. And that's what has Linklater even gotten there yet? Well, no, I think, Boyhood, that's my first real exposure to Linklater. The sheer audacity of Boyhood and the way he did it and the way he was able to pull it off just says that I guess he did have a movie studio behind it that was willing to give him, a small line item budget every year to finish Boyhood. But I don't think he's ever shot anything for over, $75 million. And again, to my point is Hollywood's not the dream. Don't be chasing the big blockbuster studio film. Make your movie and make them come to you like they did with Ryan Coogler.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, here's the deal. If Linklater is having problems getting a film made, or other filmmakers that take risks, what does that say for someone who's up and coming? Will there be the link? I mean, look, not to compare anyone, like a Linklater of the future. How do the new filmmakers break through? I really think it's using tools to just get it done anyway. And if you look at Slacker now, it does seem aspects of it are crude, but that is a beautiful film. I have the Blu-ray. I love it. Box set. It's great. Yeah.
But for me, it's the craft of filmmaking. Yeah. If you are these up and coming filmmakers, you're going to have to do it on your own. You're going to have to study. You're going to have to figure out how to tell your story using the medium of film. I mean, that's the whole thing about Christopher McQuarrie is, it's not just a matter of having a script and a camera and shooting it. You've got to analyze your story, the antagonist, the protagonist, how they relate to each other. The fact that, that you have two people in a battle, in a duel that you like and don't want to lose. How do you resolve that? How do you resolve a man and a woman in a way that's unique yet authentic? Those are the things filmmakers today have to figure out is how to tell unique stories in your voice and then commit that to film and be able to communicate that idea and that story in your head on film. And quite frankly, you're not going to get the big studio to help you out. They're not coming.
I'll end on this. We'll go to comments, but I'll just say the one thing that always impressed me about Slacker, it's one of those movies I like to watch, like a movie. It's not a traditional narrative. It's a series of little vignettes of short stories, and one leads to the next. Like it's this roving camera that is following one thing that happens, right? and then it catches a bunch of other people going a different direction, and then follows that story. One of my favorite stories is a guy is over a bridge. He's got two buddies with him, and he's got this tent, and he has a speech he gives about like that his girlfriend got fucked by this other guy in this tent, and he's really angry. He's upset about it, and he's throwing it in the river to get rid of it. And it's just this moment between friends, and they're kind of, you know, supporting his buddy who was betrayed by a woman, and then is taking this tent, symbolically throwing it away. And it's a moment. Some are sweet, some are sad. It's all over the place, but it really does capture. That movie made me fall in love with Austin, Texas. And then I got to years later go to South by Southwest film festival in the late 90s, and this is Austin, this is Slacker, right? And now it's Austin is what it is. It's more turning into San Francisco, sadly. But you know, I love that film. It's the tone, it's the human stories that he was able to tell in short form, connected, and that made it so brilliant. And
to piece it together without it feeling haphazard.
And, you know, at the time, by the way, how did I see Slacker early? Richard Linklater sent me a VHS tape of it. And he's in interviews talking about, well, if I can't sell this movie, maybe I'll get Film Threat to put this movie out and distribute it. And I've met and spoken to Linklater. He's been very kind to me. Great guy. And he even sent me a VHS tape. You know, he was the head of the Austin Film Society, and every print that would come in, he would record on VHS the heads and tails of the film, because from all over the world, you know, the countdown 3, 10, 9, 8, and the spinning, right? Like he would record each of it, and he gave me a VHS tape. I still have it, called Heads I Win, Tails You Lose. And it's just all the heads and tails, and it goes for 4 hours. Amazing. Let's go to comments quick, and then we will have our special guest join us. Quick on the comments, Alan. Here we go.
All right, Bill W. I went for popcorn at Cannes and got a standing ovation. You know, this year's Cannes was great because there were at least 20 standing ovations. So yeah, good quality movies coming out this year. Akanika for 34 months. Not for art, for money.
Yeah.
MK Solid for 5. Would love to see Tom Cruise get more ambitious. Top Gun 3 was too safe. It's too safe. Give us a sequel to Ridley Scott's Legend or a new John Woo team up. Thoughts?
I would love to see that. Yeah. Love to. Yeah. Take a risk, Tom.
Pilgrim. Hey, can you read this? I got to take care of matter here.
Okay. Pilgrim Media for 5. At the dollar film failure Disney is at the dollars that film failure Disney is making, do guys, they can go at this place for 10 more years. Okay, that's kind of all right. Yes, Pilgrim, thank you.
Not so easy reading this stuff, is it?
Yeah.
The Garth Knight returns. Hollywood needs more of Michael Bay's 3 Bs of filmmaking: boobs, bombs, and butts. Booms and butts. There you go. Patrick Lemire. No one gives a shit is what the freedom is.
No one giving a shit is where freedom is.
Patrick Lemire. Again, tried to do this on my... Okay. Quinn used to have a mini film festival in Austin, Q Fest. He just showed movies out of Q's film festival, film collection. Oh, dear God. Looking back, I see it was all research for Kill Bill. It was all in there. Oh.
That one was worded correctly.
I know. I'm just, again, I have reading issues.
Well, there you go.
That I've struggled with all my life. Yeah.
All right. Hey, let's talk to A Hard Place director, Jay Horton. He is here to tell us about his new horror film. Let's talk to him. Hey, Jay, good to talk to you.
Hey,
Hey, good to see you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Well, I want to show your trailer for your film in a second, but tell us what it's about.
So, A Hard Place is basically about a group of criminals on the run in the woods. They end up in the middle of an ancient feud, kind of a Hatfield McCoy type feud between creatures that rule the day and like monsters that rule the night. So it's basically, kind of criminals versus monsters, stuck in the middle of a big battle, action, comedy, extravaganza. It's fun stuff.
Before we take a look at the trailer for the film, I want to give our audience a taste of it because we interview indie filmmakers like yourself. Our audience isn't always aware of those movies, so we want to give them a little bit of a taste. But what was one of the biggest challenges, and how did you expand the budget to make it look more epic?
So the one thing that you can really do on a smaller budget to increase your scope, it's all about locations. So I found a very affordable farmhouse in Ohio that sat on 50 acres. It was this giant farmhouse, and just that innate production value on that property was worth a lot. And then I spent a little bit of extra money to shoot the movie anamorphic to give it a little more scope. And that's the big thing. And then I've also, as an independent filmmaker, I'm somebody who I always bite off a little more than I can chew. So, Hard Place is very, very ambitious for its budget.
Well, they say that the two things that can add production value are cast and location.
Yeah.
The two things. A location can really that's why so many people like to shoot in New York. New York becomes a character in the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And, here, I was going for kind of a Southern comfort vibe. So we shot in Ohio in the winter, the leaves are off the trees. It's, it's kind of bleak. It really added to the feel and the tone of the movie.
All right. Well, let's actually show the trailer and then we will continue the conversation. Here we go. 98 seconds. Let's hit it.
This is going to work out for us. And the best part is that no one gets hurt.
We need to find somewhere to lay low, somewhere off the grid.
Let's go. I don't want to get mixed up in whatever state we're in, Chainsaw Massacre.
What the hell?
Nobody wander off alone.
Yeah. They're coming for us.
Y'all want to get out of here?
Six criminals on the run.
What are you?
Looks like you found yourself caught smack dab right in the middle of an old-fashioned feud.
Trapped between the creatures that roam the night and the monsters that rule the day.
Where are you gonna go? Where? You ripped them limb from limb!
A hard place.
Nice. I'm getting Southern Gothic vibes out of it.
Yeah, totally. That's one of the big inspirations. Yeah. I had the Hatfield McCoy thing. There's a little bit of Sam Raimi mixed in. I'm a big Walter Hill fan. So the Southern comfort vibe is really strong in there.
Yeah. Tell us in terms of effects, where do you stand on digital versus practical, and what'd you use for your film? Combination of both, or?
So there is a slight combination of both. I would say it's 90 to 95% practical effects. I believe, especially on a lower budget movie, lower budget digital effects are just horrible. And like people can be a little bit more forgiving if you have kind of a janky practical effect, as long as it's splattery. But the effects guy that I work with, Robert Bravo, I've worked with him for years, and he can do so much with so little. We had a little tiny budget. We had 6 or 7 full-bodied, in the plant suits. We had another 7 of the other creatures, and then dozens of gags. And he pulled it off pretty much as a one-man band. He had one assistant. But my take though is I feel like CG. I like it when it's used to augment practical stuff. For example, the what were they called? The Reapers in Blade 2, when the mouse would split open, and it was practical up until the digital tongue or whatever,
right?
Stuff you actually couldn't do. Or
right.
In our case, we're shooting very fast, and we had to put these people in suits very fast, and there's a lot of action, so tears would happen or creases, and then I'd go back my visual effects artist would go in and digitally remove those stitches or those rips or whatever, or fix the face a little bit, stuff like that. I think that's cool.
Is your use of CG pre-planned, or is a lot of it kind of okay, I think I know how we can do this in post?
Yeah, a lot of it was, I think we'll do this in post. And then some of the monster fixes, of course, weren't planned. It's just, fix what kind of didn't work out on set. But then stuff for example, we didn't have an armorer. So, we're not using real guns, not real blanks. So all that's digital, all the flash and stuff like that. I pretty much refuse to use digital blood squibs, or the digital hits in the background. I just think they always look goofy. So any squibs were all practical, and we just did, instead of explosive squibs, we'd use pneumatic, so that it's air pressure through a CO2 cartridge.
We've got over 2,000 people watching live.
Wow.
We've got a lot of questions in our chat. Before we go to chat questions, two questions I have for you is one, when is the movie out? Is it out?
Yeah, it just came out Tuesday. So what we did on Apple TV and Amazon Prime Video. What we did though is, prior to this, we did about a 4-month run in independent theaters all around the country. Nice. And drive-ins. So I've played in drive-ins in Florida and Georgia and Indiana, and we're doing one in California coming up. So kind of a little mini road show. And then released on streaming just this week on Tuesday.
Great. So streaming and VOD. And I want to start asking this of all the filmmakers that come on. What is one tip, as from an indie perspective? What is one tip you can give? One thing. Let's say your best friend is going to make a movie. What is the one piece of advice you give that friend?
So it would be more a piece of information than advice. I would say set your expectations. Because I've been making movies a long time. A Hard Place is about the 95th feature I've produced. I've directed maybe 20. So I've done a lot, and I've distributed most of them. I own a lot of them. And the thing is, in movies, whether it's big or small, most fail. They fail, or they break even, or they make a tiny bit of money. In all likelihood, you're not going to make your Reservoir Dogs. You're not going to make your Clerks. You're going to make a little movie. It might make a little money. It might not. Set your expectations and keep making movies. Don't put all your eggs in one thing and think this is going to set you up, because 90% of us, it doesn't.
Let's go to comments here, and we'll start at the top.
All right, Patrick Lemire reminds me of the kid in Super 8 seeing the train yelling production values. Christopher Moonlight Productions. Mr. Horton is an indie superhero. Hale, can you talk about your touring your movie with Cine Roadshow?
So I met this guy, Peter Higuchi, online. It was his idea to do the thing, because what happened in COVID, there was a lot less studio, output. So there were a lot of theaters, especially smaller independents, that were starving for content. So he got the idea, and usually independent people, we would go to these theaters and we would have to 4-wall or pay them to get in there. Most won't even be interested in doing rev splits. But he was in this market, maybe they would. So, he took his small movie, started contacting owners directly, and eventually talked a few of them into doing, 50-50 rev splits on premieres. And then if the premiere goes well, then they'll book you like for 2 or 3 more dates the next week. And if those go well, they'll expand you from there. And so that was kind of the idea of the road show. So I did that for 4 months. And then to get into the drive-ins, we basically bum rushed our way into this drive-in convention where a bunch of drive-in owners meet every year in Florida. And, I think I paid, $400 or $500 for the booth as an exhibitor. And we went in there and basically just started pitching our movies to all these drive-in owners. And that's how we booked it. And there were no other independent filmmakers in there. So it's like, you have to force your way in sometimes. There's it's not the road might not be traveled. You have to kind of make your own breaks.
More questions here. Really good questions.
All right. How did you, from ADLS 24, excuse me, how did you find working with crews from Ohio? What are some differences they have from California professionals?
I honestly wish I could tell you, but most of my crew was people I'd worked with. So my DP came from Idaho. I guess our AD and second AD and Crafty were all local. But pretty much everybody else I brought in. But what was there, they were great.
All right. Mike Glanville. I'm a big fan of 80s schlock movies, both action and horror. I'm thrilled by this trailer.
It's very I'd say late 80s, 90s, maybe even early 2000s schlocky. Somebody said Sci-Fi Channel movie the other day. I was like, oh, I could go with that.
ADLS 24. What was the process behind the writing of the screenplay? Was this an idea you and your co-writer came up with together, or was it a script that you came across and added your personal flair?
No, so this was my script. I actually wrote the first version of this over 20 years ago when I was in college. Right after college, right after I made my first movie. And it was originally vampires versus werewolves. And I was like, oh, it's so brilliant. Nobody's ever done a big action movie with vampires and werewolves. Next year, Underworld came out. And and I just, and plus it was kind of big in scope. I didn't have that kind of money. So I just kind of shelved it. And then I did another monster movie a couple of years ago called Craving, and had a really good experience with that. And I was like, I want to do another monster movie. I want to do something bigger. I remembered the script. I was like, oh, I should take this, update the monsters. So I did that. And then I had also had a really good experience collaborating with another writer for the first time on Craving. So I decided to try that. And so I gave it to Michael J. Epstein. He did a pass on it, created some of the new elements, added a lot of the humor that wasn't there. And then I did a final pass and put it out.
Yeah. Good thing you saved those floppy disks.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Solomon Thorne. Greetings, Sir Jay. Cool trailer. What was your process of directing the film?
Oh man. So for direct, so I'm going to kind of focus on the acting because it's what has become the most important thing to me. When I first started directing, I was like, oh, how, the shots and, tell the story. And I didn't really know how to communicate with actors, but over the last, 5-6 years, I feel like I've really blossomed there. So I really like working with large groups of actors and learning how to, learning how to work with somebody who uses one process with another process and then putting them together is it's really exciting. So, I typically, if we're separated by distance, I start doing, small Zoom rehearsals, usually in groups of 2 or 3. This was a very large cast, so it would have been impossible to put them all on a, 50-person Zoom, and kind of work the characters out through that.
And then from ADLS 24, once again, legendary scream queen Felissa Rose is in your feature. How did you go about casting her, and what was her past experience in the genre did you look to utilize?
So Felissa is she's a dream. So I had worked with her on my last movie, Craving. And basically, Kevin Caliber, who also produced and starred in Craving with me, was friends with her, as was our special effects artist. So there was kind of a, second degree of separation there. So basically just called her. But Felissa she is a ray of sunshine. She's just like the nicest human being you will ever meet. And she's so good. And you know what happens, I think with a lot of scream queens, especially from the 80s, they get kind of pigeonholed and they don't get to break out very often. So like when you give someone like Felissa a role like she has in this, where she actually gets to display some of her range, she gets to go a little over the top, she gets to get emotional. And like, I think it's one of her best performances.
Well, I got to say, Jay, thank you so much for spending time with us. The movie is out now, A Hard Place, Amazon, Apple, look for it. It's out, and congratulations on the film. Really appreciate you coming by and spending time with us today.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Take care. Hey, Alan. That's
Hey.
great. I love letting our audience know about these movies. I hope that these interviews inspire others to go ahead and make it. I mean, Jay is what do you say? He's directed 20 movies, produced 95. That's a resume.
Oh, my
That's a
God.
resume.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And didn't get a single Hollywood studio dollar from it.
There you go. Last minute super chat here came in. a
Yeah,
couple here.
mystreamguide.com for $1.99. We need to have Beardo versus Alan super chat brawl. Oh, I'll lose.
Yeah, we'll do it.
And C Black for $4.99. I'm late to the show. Let me guess. Film threat promoting Superman while hating on Fantastic Four. Yes.
We're changing the name of our show to that.
Yeah. Superman while hating
Film
Fantastic Four.
threat promoting Superman while hating on Fantastic Four. That's the show.
Yep.
I think if you watch this show regularly, C Black, clearly you do not. We've been very critical of both films.
Yeah, we hate everything.
Yeah, we do, because we think like everyone else, and none of our opinions are nuanced, and everything is black and white. So we just hate everything
Yeah.
equally.
Yeah. We love indie films. None can do wrong. And we hate studio films.
Yes.
That's the mission statement of this.
Yes.
Stream.
It's so funny that people they try to read into our opinions, and I really get annoyed when people say they try to repeat our opinions back to us, but it's like, whatever, you don't watch the show.
Yeah.
You don't
I
watch the
blame
show.
toxic masculinity
Yeah.
and white privilege on all of it.
But I think realistically, Superman has the edge because there's a newness about it, and Marvel and Fantastic Four does not, because they're losing interest in Marvel. That's just a fact.
Yeah. And what they've shown us hasn't been that impressive.
Yeah, and we'll see if the world, if Pedro's able to pull it off. I'm gonna say no. It's just a guess.
I'm to not feed into the hate. I'll give it a chance.
I give everything.
I'll reserve judgment until I see.
I love being proven wrong.
Yeah.
So there you go. Okay. That's it for today. Thanks to our mods, Lord Thoth, MK Solid. We appreciate you. Thank you. More AI, Alan. I love it.
Yeah.
It's great. And we'll be back Friday with lots of reviews.
Yes.
You wouldn't believe the reviews.
In fact, there's a new documentary out about the game Postal that I've seen. We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about a lot of stuff. We have a lot of movies to review on Friday, plus news stories. So come back. Come back
Yeah.
Friday. Spend
We should
time
we
with
should
us.
mention we are 27,000 subscribers away from our next major goal,
Which is
169,000 subscribers. 169.
That's right. That's right. 169,000. And you know
If you
what?
have not subscribed yet, please subscribe now.
And when that happens, we're gonna dance.
No, is it in the? Sorry, so it's
It's not a very long clip.
Yeah.
So yeah.
China. Oh, this is. Oh, hold on. China. Oh, this is. Oh, hold on. China. Oh, this is. Oh, hold on. China. Oh, this is. China. Oh, this is.
Hey, Alan.
Hey,
I'll see you
I gotta go.
Friday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll see you Friday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Karate Kid. I'm seeing Karate Kid. And I'll try to see the Wes Anderson movie.
and
So let's get out of here.